the top somehow.
Yes, my Straight Talk family, you hear that theme song and you know it's time for another edition of Straight Talk and time for me to wish you St. Kitts and Nevis a very pleasant night to the entire Caribbean region. And a matter of fact, I can say greetings to the entire world because we are on the World Wide Web. And I know I reach and touch the Kittitian division and the Caribbean diaspora all over the globe. And my Straight Talk family, we reach you in Asia, we reach and touch you in Europe, we reach and touch you in Africa, and we also reach and touch you in North America. And it's your special day, so I say greetings, North America, and a happy Freedom Day, I call it. But my Straight Talk family, it's time for me to welcome you to another edition of Straight Talk, and time for me to greet you and say again, good night, good afternoon, good morning, as one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And for the first timers, I do thank those who continue to share the link, and we do get first timers. And for the first timers in particular, we must inform you that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. Let us in the process strive to get St. Kitts back, St. Kitts and Nevis, that is, back to that enviable position of being number one or one of the freest countries in the world. It's a very Himalayan task, I say, but let's try. Nothing beats a failure but a trial. And on this program, we try to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburd, and I thank Almighty God for blessing me with the opportunity to join you once again in conversation, my Straight Talk family. And as your host, I will continue to pledge to remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness. And I'm reminded at all times by the words of a favorite hymn of mine, which an excerpt goes like this: we are all called to be God's prophets, speaking for the truth and right, standing firm for godly justice, bringing evil things to light. Let us seek the courage needed, our high calling to fulfill, that we all may know the blessing of the doing of God's will. So my Straight Talk family, I must assure you that absolutely nothing is watered down on this program to make it more interesting. Not by omission, neither by exaggeration. That's not what Straight Talk is all about. We are not about sensationalism or creating excitement, especially at the expense of accuracy. We lean on the facts. And I consider it my bounden duty to always present the unvarnished truth. Sometimes I know the truth hurts, but we have to really serve you with the truth, especially when it comes to governance in our little federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And this program joins us together with people across the federation, with people all across the world, in the diaspora all around the world. Some we know very well, some we have met. Others we do not know, and many we will never meet. Some will agree with the positions of truth advanced on this program called Straight Talk, and some will disagree. And that's okay, because we promote diversity of views. But please, it would sadden me, my Straight Talk family, if we ever start to become disagreeable. So let's thank Almighty God for helping us to understand, oh, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Let us hope and pray for the day when we will all sing praise together, my Straight Talk family. So welcome again, my people, and thanks once more for those who share the link as you bring first-timers. So please continue to do so. And for the first-timers, I must also inform you that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we include your calls and your emails. And if you're some-minded calling, the numbers are on your monitor, on your screens, and they're listed there. And for those who like the cloak of anonymity, as I call it. You don't want to be heard. You're afraid to be heard because, the victimization and the vindictive approach to, especially those in authority. My people, it's sad. But let me say a special welcome to our future, our junior brigade. Young Dwayne, Tristan, Shamar, Kevin, Young Rue, Jamal, Travis, Travon, and of course to that special lady in St. Louis. And for our first timers, may I also inform you that for each show we consider our observations in review, after which a dissertation or short thesis is presented. And the title of my thesis or short dissertation tonight is No Second Chance to Give a Good First Impression. And we'll get into the details of my thesis shortly after our observations, which are an integral part of Straight Talk. And we look forward to presenting such to you. And as I said, we would include your calls and your emails, because on this program we give you the opportunity to have your say. An observation in review for the first timers is the time when we highlight the current issues and do some reflection. We may then ask a few questions such as, what was accomplished? How has it helped others? And what has changed since we last raised those issues? And our first observation, my Straight Talk family, is something that we need to keep highlighting. And it relates to the snake Mark Brantley, who was made the leader of His Majesty's loyal opposition. And I would not refrain from saying that the snake has made the office of His Majesty's loyal opposition into one of political prostitution. The snake himself has been reduced to what seemed to be a political prostitute in order to get access to much needed resources of the federal government. And I want to say again, I want to repeat, that Snake Mark Brantley is bad for democracy. He's bad for democracy in this country, because he's not undertaking his role, my Straight Talk family. He's not undertaking his role of the leader of the opposition, which is vital in a democratic system like ours, or like all democratic systems. As a leader of opposition should serve as a check on the ruling party. A leader of the opposition should contribute to the development of robust public policy and represent the interests of diverse political viewpoints, my Straight Talk family. And those viewpoints within the country. And I want to make the point because when we reflect on the outturn of the last general elections in 2022, the party in office, the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, as you can glean, garnered 45% of the vote and received some 13,438 votes. The People's Labour Party got 5,036 votes. The People's Action Movement got 4,737 votes. And you can glean again that the CCM, that's plain, we don't know, plain footsie, I don't know if that's the right term, got 3,473 votes. The Nevis Reformation Party received some 616 votes by Straight Dog family. And yes, there were some other votes that went to the moral restoration movement. Those are negligible, but 67 votes and 25 and 3 for independence. But the point I want to make in terms of the leader of the opposition, if you put the PLP plus PAM plus the NRP votes, and maths is my strongest weak point, to help me here, that gives you approximately 12,399 votes. Who are representing those people? Who are representing those people in the parliament? Nobody. And if you add the 3,000 for CCM, 3,473, that would tell us that there's some 15,872 voters are not being heard. Their interest is not represented in the parliament. But let's take back the 3,437 votes from the CCM and give them to Labour, because it seemed to be in opposition but supporting Labour. But that would give us 16,911 votes, but still leaves us with 12,399 voters whose voices and whose views are not being heard in the parliament. And something is wrong with that, my Straight Dog family. And I submit one more time that in our democratic system, the leader of the opposition is not holding the government accountable. And this responsibility is fundamental to the principles of checks and balances within any parliamentary framework. But all the Snake Brantley want, it seems, is the money, as he's handsomely paid as the leader of His Majesty's loyal opposition. He wants the money, he wants the glory, and he wants to fet as well my Straight Dog family, because he fets with the Prime Minister. July. Look at him, my Straight Dog family. Is that what we need from a leader of the opposition? We're not saying you should not have fun and talk to the head of the government. But you need to represent the voices, the people who have not or who voted against the incumbent government. And that's the problem I have, my Straight Dog family. When you look as well at the Public Accounts Committee, what about the Public Accounts Committee, PAC, which is indeed a crucial component of most parliamentary systems around the world? All around the world, my Straight Dog family. Its primary role is to oversee government expenditure and hold the executive branch accountable for its financial management of the people's money. The Public Accounts Committee serves as a vital mechanism in ensuring that public money is spent efficiently and effectively, thereby providing good governance and trust in our democratic institutions. Back then, in 2015 and beyond, the Right Honorable Denzel Llewellyn Douglas, now Minister of Foreign Affairs, understood his role. He understood his role as then leader of the opposition, my Straight Dog family. And he wrote to the Prime Minister. You can glean from the content of the letter back in 2017. And he wrote to the Prime Minister and said, after consultation with all members of the opposition and due consideration, I am pleased to name the Honorable Patrice Nisbet, member for Nevis 11, and myself, leader of Her Majesty's Loyal Opposition, to be members of the Public Accounts Committee. Furthermore, Douglas went on, consistent with the Commonwealth Parliamentary Convention, it is expected and therefore herein proposed that I, leader of the opposition, be the chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee. I trust that at long last the pact will be immediately installed so that it can begin to deal with the people's business of examining the public accounts as soon as possible. And that was the then leader of the opposition, Denzel Llewellyn Douglas. But what is the current leader of the opposition doing, the snake? All the snake is doing is absolutely nothing on the opposition but grabbing a check of near $6,000 or perhaps more every month and does nothing in terms of representation of the people, the thousands of voices outside there who want to be heard in terms of impacting policy. So I suggest, my straight dog family, that Snake Mark Brantley should do the honorable thing and surrender Mark Brantley, surrender the role of the leader of opposition to the third Prime Minister, Timothy Harris, who is the most seasoned parliamentarian on the opposition benches. You have to stop doing what you're doing, which is so bad for democracy. My second observation, my straight dog family, relates to the CARICOM 25 by 25. And a reporter, Carla Berridge of ZIZ Television, posed this question to Dr. July at his last round table with his selective palace guards, my straight dog family. She raised this question.
Mr. Prime Minister, St. Kitts and Nevis has been subscribed to the 25 by 25 agenda. 2025 is just a few months away. How sure are we that we will achieve those goals in that time?
And a very pertinent question, my straight dog family. But the response to me was somewhat perplexing. Here's what July had to say.
So we also invested in those tanks for water. We invested in training more of our farmers. And not only that, we are embarking on some very large programs. For example, the planting of 400,000 trees of plantain and banana. That is going to start very soon. So we want to deliver that to almost every house in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Well, my straight dog family, if you are not confused with that response, I certainly am. Yes, I'm somewhat puzzled by the response of Prime Minister July, because the CARICOM 25 by 2025 initiative is a long-term social and economic partnership aimed at reducing the region's large food import bill by 25% by 2025. Now, if you ask me, it is an ambitious goal for us here in St. Kitts and Nevis, because it's an ambitious goal that involves collaboration between member states of CARICOM, the regional private sector, that's CARICOM Private Sector Organizations, CPSO, regional organizations, producer groups, development partners, and civil society. But the strategy outlines critical areas of intervention, including my Straight Dog family, but not limited to promoting priority crops like poultry, corn, soya meat, whether goat meat or sheep, beef, rice, and niche vegetables, my Straight Dog family, that are highly imported in the region. And just yesterday, my Straight Dog family, I looked at the weekly tropical vessel coming into port. It came in on Wednesday instead of Tuesday because of the Hurricane Beryl. So I asked myself, what if everybody had plantains and bananas and the vessels couldn't come for a whole week or weeks, my Straight Dog family? I asked the question because the tropical vessel is the one or the transport mode or the vessel that transports the poultry, the chicken, the corn, the meats, and the niche vegetables, which are highly imported, my Straight Dog family. And I hear you say, well, under July, some of us won't need our niche vegetables and meats. Instead, we turn to our bananas and plantains, my Straight Dog family, to get iron. Plenty iron, I think, comes from the bananas. Don't know what iron is good for, my Straight Dog family. But that's not for tonight. But we won't get our vegetables or broccoli and so on, which comes on that vessel every week, my Straight Dog family. So I am confused, as I said, puzzled with the response from July. But our third observation tonight relates to the issue of frequent travel and the cost of such travel to the taxpayers. And this has been a vexing issue since the installation of this new July administration. Situations have arisen, even up to recently, whereby 5 of the 6 elected members were off island at the same time. And these are things that happen on a frequent basis. What is even worse, my Straight Dog family? Not one minister reports on his or her trips and tells the country of the benefits derived from their frequent travel. To add insult to injury, Prime Minister July told the country that they work abroad. Do you believe that, my Straight Dog family? He said this.
I was working abroad. Tell them we don't just travel, we work abroad. When we go, we don't take no picture with no camel and on no beach with no glasses. We're taking picture with leaders and investors, telling them to invest in St. Kitts and Nevis. That is what we travel for. So we work abroad on your behalf.
They work abroad, my Straight Dog family. But lo and behold, in a feeble attempt to defend his frequent travel, or according to him, his work abroad or working abroad, the Prime Minister, Dr. July, said his last 2 trips were sponsored. His last 2 trips were sponsored. Believe it or not, he said this.
Excellent. And again, to dispel all the nonsense about the country spending so much money on travels, this was a sponsored visit by the Republic of China, Taiwan. Sponsored mean that they covered the cost of the visit, and therefore this was at no cost to the country of St. Kitts and Nevis. The same when I traveled to Turkey as well, it It was a sponsored visit. So I think that that information is critical.
My Straight Talk family, he came out of the woodwork. And all of a sudden, he said his last 2 trips were sponsored. His last trip to Taiwan, or his last 2 trips rather, to Taiwan and Turkey respectively. But my Straight Talk family, examine this. The Prime Minister has taken 40 or near 50 trips overseas for 2024 alone. And he does an average of 10 trips or more per month, so it's plenty more than that. So Dr. July must tell the country of the cost of those other trips, those 38 or 48 trips. They came from the government treasury. And the Prime Minister must also report on the total cost of the travel for his combined ministers, or his ministers combined, I should say. All the ministers, because they travel like jumping on a bus and going to the country. So they jump on their aircraft. So he must tell us what is the combined cost of their travel for the first 6 months of 2024, all of them. And he must also tell us what were the benefits derived, if any, from all these trips overseas. Straight Talk, my family will await his response. But those are my observations for tonight, and I will move right into my thesis, which I said, for those who may have joined me recently, I've titled my thesis, No Second Chance to Make a Good First Impression. My Straight Talk family, Prime Minister July and his self-acclaimed team of experts had a rocky first 2 years in office, resulting in a RICO lawsuit more recently and an order of mandamus, which has threatened our economy, our banking system, and the very government that he leads. When Dr. July was sworn in as Prime Minister, there was a federation-wide expectation that this new leader and his team would steady the ship of state, resolve the issues of the past that gave rise to his administration, and pave a positive and clear way forward. Get it right, and he would have brought the momentum of everyone with him. But he got it wrong from the very start, and now he is struggling to win back the trust of the people that wrongfully repose their confidence in his team. The country, emerging from the COVID pandemic, made it an increasingly important time to bring the country together with more emphasis placed on policy implementation and governing. But sadly, till this day, nigh 2 years after the August 2022 elections, there is still an intensity and focus on lies and pure politicking. Now branded a pathological liar, my Straight Talk family. Now branded a pathological liar. One can make a systematic list of lies, a catalog of lies, from the day when he told the country that he procured 15 new dialysis machines. Remember, my Straight Talk family? How many of us remember when he started lying? And this was one of his first lies, my Straight Talk family, when he said this to the country.
I want to get into the issue of the Ministry of Health, which I'll speak to as well. We have a number of critical things that have taken place there. For example, we have new dialysis machines, about 15 of them. I'll get into that have arrived. We'll have the official presentation tomorrow.
Yes, my Straight Talk family. But caught red-handed lying, he then said that the machines were in storage and could not be shipped because of the weather. But the majority, or the vast majority, according to him, were in good condition. That was one of his first and early lies, my Straight Talk family.
Mr. Prime Minister, some weeks ago, the Deaf Hospital received some dialysis machines. And then there has been some talk in the community that there's something wrong with these machines, that parts are missing and...
Community of fake pages.
Whatever you want to call it. Could you address that particular issue? What is the state of these machines?
So these machines were donated from a major hospital in Canada through one of our experts, one of our nationals who live there in the diaspora, Mr. Estrid. And so these machines were donated to us. When we got these machines, it was in the winter. And because it was in the winter, you couldn't ship them because whatever substances they have in their structure, the cold would freeze it. And so we took the decision to store them in a warm storage area. That is why they didn't come earlier. On spring came, the temperature went back up. That is when we decided to ship them to St. Kitts and Nevis. The vast majority of them are in condition.
So yes, my Straight Talk family, he moved from new to donated. Many of us were aware that July was talking stupidness as well when he said that the country was in the red.
We are in the red, dependent heavily on CBI, and therefore we have to now chart a different course in order to make sure that St. Kitts and Nevis remain strong and viable, but we are very vulnerable at the same time.
In the red. But many of us were aware that July was talking stupidness as the third Prime Minister, Timothy Harris, left over $600 million in the Treasury. The third Prime Minister even reminded the Federation of this fact about 2 or 3 weeks ago, my Straight Talk family.
Yes, we did all these things. And when I left the government, I left $700 million in accumulated cash. No other country could compare to what we did coming out of COVID. The IMF lauded us, the strongest fiscal buffers in this region. That is what we did. A track record of performance which cannot be matched. And my promise is to deliver again in the next PLP inclusive leadership, fiscal discipline, and deliver results for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis.
But my Straight Talk family, liars have no memory, they say. As lo and behold, when interviewed by Observer Radio in Antigua, July twisted his mouth, as we say colloquially, and told the host that he had money in reserve for a rainy day. My Straight Talk family, this is what he said, believe it or not.
You heard it straight from the Prime Minister's mouth. It's not a fake. All public servants will be getting a double salary. But PM, where is this coming from? Because here in Antigua and Barbuda, our government has not been able to offer stimulus to Antiguans and Barbudans during COVID. And we keep hearing of all these great initiatives in your country. Have you discovered oil somewhere in Bastia?
I can't say we have discovered oil. Let me say that each country has its own response, but this has been our response. I can't say we don't have oil. Of course, we had some money is put away for a long time now that we would
Okay.
use during a rainy day.
My Straight Talk family, another lie. And let's take our time with this one. As Dr. July is right now claiming the MRI machine as his idea and his doing. As he said this just a few days ago, my Straight Talk family.
MRI building, when I put it up, I think it had over 300 plus likes. People were shocked. The MRI building is really taking place. Yes, we'll have our MRI here. No more need unless you choose to go to the biomedical center, aka Monkey Farm. I said we will put an end to it. So we are building a special housing for it. The MRI is being built at the same time as the building so that the MRI does not have to go into storage. It will be a very, very modern piece of equipment that will serve our people here. And I dare say, I know people will come from other parts of the region to use the MRI because at any point, an MRI in the next country can go down and they probably will need to come here just as we might have to go to other.
And my Straight Talk family, recall that in September 2022, 1 month after moving into office, he also said this, my Straight Talk family.
Your government is now just 1 month old, and we have been working extremely hard to fulfill the pledges and the covenant we have made with you. A new modern MRI has been ordered for the JNF General Hospital.
You heard that yourselves, my Straight Talk family. But why he made that proclamation back then, my Straight Talk family, was because the money for this very important piece of medical equipment was already approved in the 2022 budget estimates that were approved by the Parliament in 2021. I thought I had that PowerPoint to provide you with that evidence. But if you can glean from the budget estimates under the ministry number 14, that's the Ministry of Health, that the purchase of a medical equipment, beg your pardon, an MRI machine, was approved at a total estimated cost of $7.7 million. And $5 million were approved, allocated in 2022 from revenue. And we understand why $5 million, because you won't spend the $7 million in that particular year. So the Ministry of Finance allocated $5 million of the $7.7 million. But why was this procurement delayed for 2 years? All about incompetence and politics. July, my Straight Talk family, also made an announcement 2 days ago about seeking assistance from Taiwan to build a solar farm, my Straight Talk family. He said this.
Discuss a number of things to do in St. Kitts and Nevis, especially to do with renewable energy development, especially in solar. So I discussed with Taiwan about developing a large solar facility here in St. Kitts and Nevis.
My Straight Talk family, let us watch Dr. July with eagle eyes. And I'm going to tell you why. The father of the minister with responsibility for renewable energy was or still is the sole director of a company called Speedtech St. Kitts Limited. Speedtech constructed the solar farms at the ECCB roundabout on the way to on the Frigate Bay Road and at the RLB International Airport. you can see that solar farm when you're driving or even you're flying over. But hear this, both of these solar farms are not operational. They don't work. So we ask the question, are they trying to sneak Speed Tech back into the solar business in St. Kitts? And I will tell you that Speed Tech is a Taiwanese-based company. The parent company is in Taiwan. It's a Taiwanese-based company, by the way. So questions were asked back then. If there was any conflict of interest as the father of the minister with responsibility for renewable energy was at the time chairman of SCASPO when the solar farm at the RLB International Airport was commissioned. And this is what Lincoln Maynard said back then when asked the question about conflict of interest. He said this, my Straight Talk family.
Mr. Maynard said he is no longer on the board of the call. Speedtech Energy was registered while he was on the board. Were you on the board at that time, or was a new board appointed before that time, before when the company was registered?
I'm not sure with the timelines with respect to that, but I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
Okay.
He don't think so. Very interesting answer, my Straight Talk family. But it must be of paramount interest, nonetheless, to every single citizen of this country who is burdened with higher electricity costs when for 2 years the 36 megawatt solar farm that was signed under the Team Unity administration is still not commissioned, when it requires no capital outlay from the government, not 1 cent. The Prime Minister, true to his name and character, lied about the project when he said this, my Straight Talk family. He said this about that project back then.
The matter is, of course, renewable energy from the solar end. We had to come in and basically clean up what was there. That was a horrendous situation on all levels, and now we're at the point where that is getting ready to move forward.
And my Straight Talk family, again, Dr. July was exposed and found to be a pathological liar as his own hand-picked special advisor was in total contradiction with what he said when Edinburgh said this, my Straight Talk family.
It is a good project based on our own studies, calling in the expertise from right in the Caribbean to assess. It's a good project. Mm-hmm. They feel that it was properly assessed and the costing was within the range of what it would cost anyway to do that.
A good project, my Straight Talk family. And for 2 years, it has not been implemented. And you know why? You know, my Straight Talk family? This pathological liar, Terence Michael Drew, spoke recently about RICO being a threat to the St. Kitts, Nevis, Anguilla National Bank. And yes, he is correct, as this case can negatively impact its corresponding banking relationship. Dr. Drew Lai went on to state this. He said this, my Straight Talk family.
And I will not accept anybody who seeks to destroy the reputation of National Bank. It is beyond me. It is about the country. It's a very serious matter.
Yes, my Straight Talk family, it's a very serious matter. But there are other serious matters as it relates to the National Bank. And my Straight Talk family, the biggest threat to the St. Kitts, Nevis, Anguilla National Bank is the Terence Michael July administration. If you look at their financial statements and you look at non-performing loans, NPLs, account for almost 45, nearing 50% of their assets. But hear this, my Straight Dog family. The board of the National Bank instructed its lawyers to take legal action on its behalf to recover approximately $130 million from Christopher Harbour. This matter was in court to determine the National Bank's lien or its legal right or claim against Christopher Harbour and the acreage of land that was used as collateral to secure the payment of the $130 million in debt owed to the National Bank by Christopher Harbour. I was part of the negotiations. I sat right next to Buddy Darby, who agreed to surrender the land, but on one condition he advanced. Buddy Darby wanted $6 million to help with his cash flow, as he claimed that he could not pay his recurrent bills, including his service providers, couldn't even pay salaries and wages. And that was not for our meeting. That we said was for the bank. But hear this. When Terence Michael July came into office, we are told, he instructed the new board of directors to instruct the lawyers to discontinue the case. But this must be a travesty, my Straight Dog family, as this could only mean writing off this humongous debt owed to the bank in order to lend Christopher Harbour more money. Christopher Harbour also owes the government another $60 million, which includes interest on money it borrowed from the SIDF, which it never paid back, my Straight Dog family. But I can talk all night providing evidence of the dishonesty, the incompetence, and though not exhaustive, the corrupt practices of Terence Michael July and his cabinet colleagues. It is said, my Straight Dog family, that in life and in all we do, we all have just one opportunity to give a first impression. From what I have told you thus far, my Straight Dog family, I would be mortally surprised if you didn't conclude that Terence Michael July and his entire cabinet, he calls his A-team or team of experts, have made a terrible, horrible, or simply put, a very bad first impression. And I have not even addressed the corruption that was launched from the Prime Minister's office. Yes, Prime Minister July, when he got into office, established a unit, an arm, it seems, of the Public Works Department in the Prime Minister's office, and appointed a young woman as project manager. The first strike on the government treasury was under the pretext, my Straight Dog family, under the pretext, the false pretense of building a museum for our first national hero. The initial construction cost was estimated at $4 million, which catapulted to $8 million. But the work, my Straight Dog family, has come to a halt, a complete halt, my Straight Dog family, with no explanation whatsoever. $8 million already spent, my Straight Dog family. The second strike on the treasury, my Straight Dog family, cost us as taxpayers $5.8 million for 1,000 water buckets, as most people call them. For those who were inquiring, the Prime Minister, July, has to date only accounted, my Straight Dog family, for 579 of those water buckets. He has not reported since this report about these water buckets.
As an interim measure, the government introduced a new water storage tank project to ease the suffering of residents by improving access to water by affected households. Under the project, we have already distributed over 250 tanks primarily to vulnerable residents in Upper Keyon, Whites Village, Sarabori, Cabitry, and Spooners Village. These areas are known to be the most severely impacted by water scarcity and have felt the brunt of the water shortage impact over the years, Madam Speaker. Water shortage tanks were also distributed to the residents of St. Peter's who suffer a similar plight. A total of 314 water storage tanks were supplied to households throughout the Upper Monkey Hill, the Glen, Paris Village, Fountain, and Stapleton, bringing the total distribution under the water project to about 500 or more.
My Straight Dog family, these two strikes were criminal, according to the opinion of the disgraced Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin. He said this, my Straight Dog family. Remember?
Our Procurement Act requires that there be a competitive bidding process to ensure the government gets value for money, and it makes it a crime to spend money from the Treasury without the procurement process being completed.
My Straight Dog family, a crime. But it gets worse. When we examine the issues regarding the CBI and the excuse we should never accept, my Straight Dog family, when he said that he was set up. Remember that?
What? Irresponsible, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I said that in 2020 to 2023, as a result of 5,500 CBI units issued for the prison project, I am informed that 166 passports have been issued to citizens by investment in the last 2 years, Madam Speaker. Set up the government. Set up the government with this, Madam Speaker. I repeat, because of the prison project. Madam Speaker, the number goes up more. I can just get to the final number, Madam Speaker. Because each time I look at this number, all sort of things bubble up in me, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, imagine on the previous St. Nevis Labour Party's watch with the then CBI investment option over a span of 7 years between 2008 and 2015, 10,000 passports. But under the member for number 7's watch, on the Team Unity's watch, with their CBI investment options, 42,979 passports were issued. Madam Speaker, I think that is about the population of St. Kitts. Madam Speaker.
Yes, my Straight Dog family, would we accept that excuse about being set up? Just recently, a few days ago, my Straight Dog family, he said that his predecessor committed him into signing these passports. Would you believe that?
Our analysis committed the country, has committed me. When somebody becomes a citizen, they have all the rights therein in the Constitution. Therein in the Constitution.
My Straight Dog family, he said he committed the country, committed the Prime Minister. But how come Dr. July was not committed to the construction of the Bastille High School at the original site at Ponds Estate? That was recommended by 4 or 5 water engineers, including Denison Paul, Atil Rollins, who spent 20 years as an engineer of the Water Services Department, and the current manager and water engineer Cromwell Williams, who have spent nigh 15 years as a manager and water engineer, my Straight Dog family. And he's now the manager under the Soca engineer Congress. At the town hall meeting, my Straight Dog family, manager and water engineer Cromwell Williams said this to the residents of East Bastille and the country about the site that was selected.
Our advice to the cabinet was that, given that the Ponds Estate site is at least 1,000 feet downstream of the closest well, which is designated well 148, and furthermore is in an area of the Bastille Valley which was never used for potable water extraction and is very unlikely to be used for potable water extraction, coupled with the use of modern wastewater technology, this site does not present a danger to the potable water supply.
I must replay that for you one more time, my Straight Dog family. This is the water engineer who is currently advising the Soca engineer. He said this about the site that was recommended by the engineers, not by the cabinet, not by a minister. He said this.
Advice to the cabinet was that, given that the Ponds Estate site is at least 1,000 feet downstream of the closest well, which is designated well 148, and furthermore is in an area of the Bastille Valley which was never used for potable water extraction and is very unlikely to be used for potable water extraction, coupled with the use of modern wastewater technology, this site does not present a danger to the potable water supply.
My Straight Dog family, the same manager and water engineer is presently advising the cabinet. And I hope that Cromwell Williams, who I know very well, and we worked together before on two different occasions. One, when I was a permanent secretary, and the second time when I was the minister. And I know the individual. And I hope that Cromwell Williams will not compromise his professional training and experience for the petty politics that is practiced by July and his cabinet. July, upon assuming office, set a tone that spoke volumes about his competence, trustworthiness, and leadership style. He started off on the wrong foot. Therefore, he will always face challenges in gaining trust and credibility. He totally mismanaged his first interactions with the people, and the ill-advised decisions he made, especially those that continued to affect the poor people. So in the process, July failed to create a positive foundation for his leadership journey. Dr. July can never reverse that perception or that position. So let us make up our minds tonight, my Straight Dog family, to change him at the earliest opportunity, because there is no second chance to make a good first impression. And that's my story tonight, my Straight Dog family, and I am not going to change it. But I'll open the lines. It's now 5 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour, and I will entertain your calls and your emails. And if you're so minded to call, again, the numbers are on your monitors. 663-6672. and or 646-829-6672. That's the overseas number. For those who like the cloak of anonymity, the email platform is available to you, and the address, my Straight Talk family, is Straight Talk at Straight Talk Patches, beg your pardon, that's one word, at gmail.com. I always like to implore you when I open the lines, and I'll do so momentarily. I always like to implore you to respect others, and of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to our concern, and let us ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in doing and saying those things, my Straight Talk family, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. It's 7 past 9. I go to the lines and say good night to this caller. Caller, you live. Hello,
good night, Mr. Good night, Mr. Liburd.
Good night, my dear. Good night. Good night.
The quotation,
to
believe in something and not to live it, it is dishonest. A lie has speed, but truth has endurance. I repeat, to believe in something and not to live it is dishonest. A lie has speed, but truth has endurance. Have a great evening.
Thank you very much, my dear. Dishonest. Lie has speed and truth has endurance. I thank you very much for these quotations. And my Straight Talk family, I go straight back to the lines and say good night to this caller. Call you live.
Matil.
How are you, my dear brother? How are you? You almost made it. You almost made it tonight.
Oh.
You almost made it tonight. That's the opening bat.
Well, me tell you what me could do it on, but me I only prove to you that I could do it, but me not do it no more.
What song? What song?
I only prove to you I could do it. Psalms 103 passage.
Psalms 103. You keep stumping me with these Psalms. Psalms 103.
103 Psalm passage.
Yeah. Let me hear you.
103 Psalm passage. That way I come into you. Yeah. Now, hear your passage. Verse 1. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is in me.
Bless his holy name.
Bless his holy name.
Yes. I got you now.
Bless the Lord, O my soul.
And all.
And forget not all his benefits. Who give us all thy iniquity, who healeth all our diseases, who redeemed us thy life, who redeemed thy life from destruction, who crowned thee with all thy loving kindness and thy tender mercy, who touches our mouth with laughter, touches thy mouth with good things. So thy youth shall thy youth is with him, and thy life that like an eagle. The Lord executed righteousness and judgment for all that are oppressed. He made known the ways unto Moses, and his act unto the children of Israel. The Lord is mercy and gracious, slow to anger, and plenty of mercy. He will not strive, neither strive. Now, neither will he keep his anger forever. He have not deal with us.
Okay.
After our own sin, neither reward us according to our iniquity.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, Patrick,
So,
I am going to read verse 15. Now, 14 said, for he know our frame. He remember that we are dust. You hear that, Patrick? He remember that we are dust. As a man, as for a man, his days are grass, as the flower of the field, so he floweth. No, I am not going no further on there.
okay, thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I tell you whether I could do it or not. Me ain't taking you on.
Okay, my brother.
So,
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your I call them spiritual interventions. I go back to the lines and I thank this caller for holding. Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Mr. Straight Talk. Mr. Straight Talk.
How are you, my brother?
I'm doing good. I'm in my bed laying down and I'm laughing.
You're laughing
about those water buckets.
You're laughing.
Yes, because you touch it. I wasn't to listen tonight, but tonight is Independence Night, so we take off for tonight.
The Bible class tonight. Okay, good boy.
Yes. So how are you, my brother, from another mother?
I am peaceful. What about you?
What can I say, man? Like I tell you, it's good, it's well. I lay in my bed and I completely forget that tonight is Straight Talk. When I put on the thing, it was already 11 past. I say, oh, my Straight Talk is on. So I just come out and put it on. But you make me laugh tonight. I think he says, he had a press conference some time ago, Mr. King Liar, and he says that the dispatch all these water buckets. He talked about it again and what they're going to do. But me didn't remember hearing him say how many water buckets he tried to get. But he did mention it that about the water buckets that they're getting. So I thank you so much. All I wanted to do now is so Mr. Strader, what become of the prison? They stop bill it?
I'm not too certain. I don't want to say anything that I can't confirm, but I can.
This is another homework for you.
Give me some homework.
Yes, I can do.
Yeah, it's
I just want to say good night to you. Yes, go ahead, listen.
It's a nice drive over there, so I'll confirm.
Yes. I can't wait for when you come back Monday night to get me the and make sure you have your camera because I want to see pictures.
Okay, my brother.
Because my brother was to drive up there and he said, you can't see it, it's this, it, that, and this and that. So I said, all right, I'll leave it till another time. So let me just say good night to my brother there in Bellevue and his son George Reed and to my wonderful niece there in St. Louis and Texas Queen. How are you? And my brother Culture, be good. My brother, I will be coming there soon and very soon. So you will see me soon. So do your homework for me. You're doing a good job. You make me laugh tonight about those water buckets.
Okay, my brother. Okay. Good to hear you.
So let's... The what?
No, you go ahead. I interrupted you.
I says just do your thing as a good man's are.
I will.
Understand, you're doing a good job. King Lawyer, we got him under rope. We have him under rope. So just keep beating him, can't to Cassius Clay. When you got him down, beat him till he hit the ground.
Okay,
my brother, I'll see you soon.
See you soon. See you when I see you, my brother. Okay? Let's go back. I want to thank this caller for holding. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, my dear. This sounds like Alice in Wonderland.
Tell your caller, you just no caller. All what you to do, they don't have nothing to do. They ain't gonna do nothing. Because they don't want nothing what Timothy was to do. And they still ain't have nothing for themselves. Anyway, I hear a minister wife does getting 100,000 for being a wife. I don't know. And if it is true, it's unfair to petition because not even 500 they can get that suit them is what they wanted and voted for. And they're making a big song and dance for hurricane relief, showing it on TV. It used to give before. They ain't the only person and the first. What a big show. I have more, but if I could get back, otherwise Monday. Have a good weekend. If I ain't come back, and Culture and Nabu. Good night and have a good weekend. Because you know I cannot hear you, and then I wouldn't know when to call back again. Because you have a lot of people. You're outside strong. Everybody talking about patches, that eating them up.
You haven't got your smartphone yet? What happened to you? You're behind, man. Huh?
No, I don't want none. Whatever you're saying, I know what to say too.
Okay.
See you.
Okay, my dear. Have yourself a nice day. Have yourself a nice...
July.
Okay. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live.
Hello?
Oh, Mike, talk about the devil and what happens.
Okay, the devil appear.
How are you, my brother?
I'm good, man. I'm a good devil.
Someone just called your name.
Yeah. Well, let me say first of all, happy birthday, America.
Happy Independence, yes.
Good night, good evening to everyone in America and all the American citizens all over the world where you are. Happy birthday. Good evening, my brother up in America, Mr. Straight Talk, Nabu, and Mr. Sidewine. And welcome, everybody, to this program. That is, let me just touch on certain things here first. Now, you see, when some people give people a job to advise them, and the advisor giving them good, proper instruction, they're so wicked. The receiver is so wicked and evil-minded and heart full of iniquity that they're not taking on the advisor. Now, the solar farm that was organized by Team Unity Administration. Everybody hear what the advisor to King Lawyer said about the solar farm. But because the King Lawyer is so wicked and hate Timothy and the whole of Unity people supporters, he so hate them that he ain't take on the advisor. Now here we going to talk about somebody to come and start another solar farm. People, everybody, just say what you have to say. Condemn who need to be condemned. That man is the worst lawyer in the whole world. July. Evil-minded, he ain't got nothing to say. Nothing to do. He said Team Unity haven't done anything in 7 years. And the other night I count 33 things that was done by Unity to this country here. 33. And one of these times when I have much thing to say, I'm going to call them out. And he just Must he scrub up a word up monkey he coming down. He got that making big talk. Big talk. And he say unity and do nothing, including the whole island main road. I don't know what the man what wrong with he? The next thing again, anybody walking on the heat and then not wearing the color shirt where he want to wear. First thing he can victimize them. Turn them away. A young lady ain't reached 60s yet. And the pressure that administration put upon that young lady because she's not one of them. Send home the lady and the lady take it on. Take it on. And it brings out some NCDs in the woman pass off. Just like 2005, when the sugar industry done, and the man say he would have no dead body. And the leg of everybody. I know 2 men in K-on, take it on, because they were cutting cane. And they take on that, they're so serious. Same thing happened to them. You can't do people them kind of things. Not because people ain't supporting you. All are human. God make the world for everybody. It's only dictators operate that way. Let everybody eat. Let everybody eat, man. Let the country run. Everything out him out, they call him out Timothy. And the administration before ain't do nothing. Ain't do nothing. Let's go forward. Stop driving you in your rear mirror, boy. The country ain't getting nowhere. Your popularity already gone. So you could send around who you want in a car with the speakers when visitors come to the country and say labor this and labor that. They ain't taking you on because everybody know. Don't talk your walks. Show your walks. When people see your walks, then they will say, okay, he wasn't lying. But you're telling a load of lie, boy, promising people, and there is nothing to show that, nothing in fusion to show that you live up to what you say. You're a big lawyer and you cannot convince nobody later. Thank you, Patrick. I'll be back.
Thank you very much, my Straight Talk family. And I listened to Dr. July when he said this, my Straight Talk family. I almost fell off my chair when I heard him say this.
I've said to you, the people, that I will not lie to you.
July said to you, the people, he will not lie to you. Do you believe that, my Straight Talk family?
I've said to you, the people, that I will not lie to you.
Let's go back to the lines, my Straight Talk family. And I want to thank this caller for holding call you live.
Good night, Patches. Good night, all the listeners. Good night, culture. Strong mouth. I wish you had the actual vigor in a mobile manner to make that move on the street for the peaceful protest. But anyway, I am not a man who will criticize anyone at a first listening to the story or statement. But as you play back all these voice note clips about the Prime Minister and looking at the previous administration, I would like to give him this advice. And I hope he's listening. I love you, sir, but I don't like your ways, the way you're running the country. You are doing too much talking and not action. You are doing too much criticizing and action. No damage control. As I will say, too much iron in the fire, but they are not in. And you got to get some iron melt. I don't know what kind of furnace you have to melt these iron, but they're not working. And that is pertaining to your advisors. They are not giving you sound advice to make this country move and make the people happy. I personally don't like the way things are going. But anyway, in respect to the solar farm was forecast long time ago. Whether it is since then in Timbuktu until now. The point is, something was in the pipeline. What is hard if a project is deemed proper to be moving forward? Government is continuous. What is hard in continuing a project that is good for the country? As your personal advisor said, the project is a good project. And do not jump into something just like that. You got to review everything. You got to review every project that was there before and what are you going to focus on and move forward. Patches, I have more to say. I will cut right here and I will come again. I'll yield to somebody else. Thank you.
Thank you, my Straight Talk family, for your contribution. And I'll try and juggle with these emails. Many of us were hoping and looking out with bated breath to hear Dr. July announce at the round table the $500 CBI payments he promised that he would pay in June. June has passed and the money is not paid, and he has no excuse to give anyone, believing that we would be distracted from the money payments. Instead, he came up with a pack of lies talking about Harris. What foolishness he talking about Harris. That is no concern to us. All we are interested in is money, what you promised us. Boy, they could find a better name for you than Dr. July, because you are a complete liar, Dr. July. Here's what he said about the dividend, my Straight Talk family.
And we have shared the wealth from the CBI with our people. Whenever the opportunity presents itself, I will share it with the people. But it's a dividend, meaning that is the extra that is left after you would have fulfilled your full budget and any other thing that you can give directly.
That's what he said about the CBI dividend. A nice way, convoluted way of saying he's not paying it. They can't fool us, reads this email. You can easily detect that some of these questions preferred by these so-called journalists were pre-arranged and structured, especially that woman who asks about Verdi and gifts and Harris. Why the hell she did not ask Drew about the personal gifts he and his wife received from the government of Taiwan on their recent trips there? He said every time he travels and returns, he reports to the people. Women tell him, we want to know about the numerous gifts he received from Turkey, Dubai, Taiwan, and other parts of the world he has traveled, and how much of these gifts he begged in advance. For all begging spell the same. He needs to repeat or report on them as well, reads this email. This other email reads, Mr. Dwyer, I have to agree with many people, and the majority are ardent supporters of Labour, who claim that they do not listen. Repeat, do not listen to anything you have to say, because as Prime Minister Gaston Brown and others who pronounce that to just a political so-and-so, ironically, you have referred to Edinburgh as being one as well. However, in your nasty desire and pursuance to tarnish the good name and character of Dr. Harris, you have been caught lying on Harris again in your recent weekly commentary. You claim that it was after Harris had fired the 6 elected members that the remaining cabinet members had approved the jail project. Mr. Dwyer, you are a public liar, because Jonel Powell, one of the Team Unity cabinet members, said publicly that he was a part of the new prison project deal. He was aware of it. The cabinet was fully aware of it. Therefore, he was not fired at the time. So you're just willfully wicked and dangerous. All members of cabinet was party to it. So, Mr. Dwyer, don't come to us with no half-cock and bull story. Come straight with the honest truth. The red herrings, shenanigans, and scapegoating that you are orchestrating against Harris will not work. Mr. Liar, so Mr. Dwyer, don't come to us with, I read that, would not work. Mr. Liar Dwyer, that should read My Straight Dog Family. Let's go to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yes, Patches. I'm sorry. I had to cut because I had an interrupted call. So I cut it short. But let me come with this other piece. The last thing I think I said was something in respect to the solar farm. Listen, this solar farm has been lingering on. Why the solar farm or the project cannot be continued as it is? And the question, that solar farm that is going over to Frigate Bay, how much megawatt it was forecast to be? You have any idea? Because it's not operating. I saw it. And how much that could have put into the grid to lower the rate on the main power plant. I mean, for that just looked like a dolly house. How much it produced? I know some solar panels, depending on how they are made, they can generate a lot of electricity. But how much that plant was said to be? And why can't it be put back on the line? It will help. Every little thing will help. The one up at the airport, I don't know where that is. But solar is the cheapest way to go. It helps. What is the problem getting something going and stop the damn talking? Do something. That is what I'm all about. I hate when people talk, criticizing, and not doing nothing. Empty barrel make the most noise. Stop it. Please. And do the due diligence for the people. Cut those things out, man. You're a big man. You're put into a position of recognition. Make dynamic, intelligent decisions. So far, fail. I ain't hate you, but I don't like the way you're performing. Very, very poorly, sir. And your administration behind it. Thanks.
Thank you very much, my Street Dog family. This email reads, Dr. Drew, I realize that the media persons that you control and were in attendance at your roundtable discussion, you assigned them with some questions to ask Dr. Harris at his next press briefing. Now, these panicking dollyhouse so-called journalists are afraid to ask you questions like these. 1. Is it true that you reside in a government house and still collecting housing allowance? 2. Are you collecting traveling allowance despite the fact that you have several government vehicles assigned to you? 3. Is your wife getting a monthly salary, and if so, how much? And for what? 4. Is it proper and correct that the leader of the opposition and chairman of the Public Accounts Committee has purposely failed to hold a meeting nigh 2 years now and report to the country his findings? 5. Why up to now you haven't met with the people of Nevis in your capacity as Prime Minister of the Federation to hear their concerns? And there are many. Is it because you just don't care about Nevisians, or because the Premier has said it in private? If you do want to see trouble, make the mistake and come over here in Nevis without any permission or my permission to have a meeting with anyone. Is that so? Then why you bother to tout that you are the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis? Reads this email. Mr. Liburd, one of the core questions that these journalists did not ask the Prime Minister is why he and 5 of his ministers were out of the Federation at the same time. Some was in Canada, others were in Germany, and the rest in Taiwan. And who was left to carry out the duties of Prime Minister? The duties of Prime Minister? This really bad governance and corrupt practice, Mr. Prime Minister. We need to see the demonstration of good governance in palpable and tangible ways, not empty rhetorical talking about good governance. It has become so boring now to hear you talking about good governance when you fully well know that there isn't a scintilla of it being practiced by your government. Where is the evidence of good governance? Where, while the Tony would be leaking classified information in text messages to Astafan, isn't that a breach of the oath of office he took, coupled with other transgressions of the law, like his contravention with the Social Security Act and the big song and dance he had in Parliament over procurement procedures law is not being adhered to? Why? Because what he is about, what he is above the law. These are questions these frightened journalists should be asking the Prime Minister about. Let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you live.
Good night, Mr. Patches.
Good night, my dear.
How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Thank God for another day. Listen, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Have a good evening. Take care.
Thank you very much. Yes, as it's sound words that cannot be condemned. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you live.
Yeah, Patches, I am back. No, Patches, I want to say this here. Now, when the Tony got Lucifer Wilkin, remember when he went in first on the banging chest and said he afraid of nobody? And he gonna name them and shame them because they were not friendly with the treasury. Well, I want to know if when they took 15 of them to New York, if they were friendly with the treasury for all of those airfare tickets. That's one. And the second thing, you know, in those days when black poor people could not afford in-house utilities, we had a little shed built up out in the yard in the corner. Out there, we call it a pit, a latrine. You know, it had into kind of cockroach in mahogany, and no one then you find maybe one or two little white one. Read between the lines. Now let me tell the people of Nevis this. When the Team Unity administration was in office, they sent over $400 million to the snake over in Nevis for he to spend it on Nevis. And we all know the things in Nevis that are unfinished. And the major one over there, the hospital. But everything out in mouth is Mundo track. Well, out of the $400 million that they get from the Unity to spend in Nevis, that is where it was spent on OTI with $150,000 every month on OTI. From to that scamp, that vagabond who was in prison, come down here. And now look at OTI. And the people of Nevis were heavily taxed with all kind of taxes, while the scamp getting $150,000 out of the $400 million that they get from down here when he was saying that he want fair share. Fair share, well, now we getting nothing. What happened to the words fair share? Fair share? People of Nevis, I like what you're all doing. Some kind of demonstration you all have up on the street the other day, whatever it is, continue. I only hope that we in St. Kitts could get up and do the same thing and stop chatting. We banging a dead horse when the race finish. Too much talking. Next month gonna make 2 years since those vagabonds in there said the name government. And what they have done for the country. Take with $500 from those who are in need of it. Not those who want it, those who are in need. But increase the big cruiser side salary. And all you wink, he ran out of the country from plane. Mr. Bradshaw was married. And when Mr. Bradshaw leave in the country, his wife here. Dr. Simmons is married. And when he leave in the country, his wife here. Timothy ain't married. So he had no what to carry, but he never go out there so often and freaking look this 1 year. Come on, and this 1 year gone in there. As soon as he wake up, he got anxious to go to the airport to go up on plane. They gone in there with one thing in mind. Boy, no, we don't have a chance. Let me dip our hand down in the cookie jar and check what we could get and full up our long pocket because we can't do what we come in here to do because we had no plan and we do not know how to run a country, and we're going to get out of here soon in one term. We're going to get out of here. So let me take what we could get now. That is, I don't remember anything else. So, good night. So long.
Yeah, good night, my brother. And just for correction, I believe the third Prime Minister said it was not 400 million, but 500 million. We always bring in the facts.
Paid $500 million available to NIA and the people of Nevis. And a man still break up the government for fair share. $500 million. And the NIA today is indebted to the tune of another $500 million. Make it make sense to me. $500 million in support. And the administration over there is over $500 million in debt. Good thing what I did it for the people of Nevis.
Yes, it was in fact $500 million, my brother, and not 4. Nevisians can feel a sense of comfort with this email during the hurricane season because Team Unity repaired their damaged roofs. We are aware that July made a claim to the Caribbean catastrophe risk insurance fund, beg your pardon, in 2023 and receive US $1.5 million. Please ask the wicked government what they did with the claim because the citizens did not benefit from it. Reads that email. The Premier of Nevis has descended from his high horse, having realized he has failed miserably in the governance of Nevis's affairs, with numerous bad spending of taxpayers' monies, the increased high cost of living, the increase in electricity, water, and hospital fees, and a number of unfinished projects in spite of the several millions of dollars he received from Harris. The Premier is now begging for help. Let us have a discussion. He pleads passionately on his Facebook page. Tell me what to do for need help. Harris is so right when he declared Mark is a bad spender. Reads this other email. This other email reads, I'll just dispense of the emails before I go back to the lines. I'll take this other email. Dear Patches, did you catch Dr. Joe at his round table on Tuesday? His performance was nothing short of a masterclass in double talk and deception. Dr. Joe vehemently denies any involvement in underselling the citizenship by investment program, but his own words betrayed him. He claims he never accused anyone, particularly Dr. Harris, of underselling. Yet he talks about the possibility of Dr. Harris's administration lowering the legal price of the CBI. Let's cut through the nonsense. Lowering the price is underselling, plain and simple. Dr. Drew's attempt to spin this is as ludicrous as Trump's false tales. His pathetic attempts to dodge responsibility are blatant. By admitting the potential for reducing the price, he inadvertently confirms the very act he denies. This is not just disappointing, it's a scandalous betrayal of public trust from someone who should be a pillar of integrity. We deserve leaders who are transparent and accountable, especially on critical national issues. Dr. Drew's evasive language and outright lies only serve to undermine our confidence and raise serious doubts about his honesty and competence. It is time to call out this charade for what it is and demand better from our leaders. Yes, I heard him saying that. Not accused of underselling, but than talking about selling at a lower price, whatever he meant, my Straight Dog family. It's 9:45, my Straight Dog family. You may have just joined me. And we looked at a few observations tonight, and we also looked at the thesis, which is titled No Second Chance to Make a Good First Impression. And I raised a very important issue as it relates to a threat to the National Bank. And if what I've heard is accurate, it must come to light. So it's only been delayed for a moment, because that cannot be hidden in their financial statements. The board of the National Bank was instructed back then, the former board, I should say, instructed its lawyers to take legal action on behalf of the bank to recover approximately $130 million from Christopher Harbour. We raised that many months ago, right on this very program. This matter was in court to determine the National Bank's lien or its legal right or claim against Christopher Harbour and the acreage of land that was used as collateral to secure payment of $130 million in debt owed to the bank. I can speak to it because I was part of those meetings. I sat right next to Buddy Darby, and Buddy Darby cannot deny that. Buddy Darby agreed to surrender a portion of land, and he advanced a condition. Buddy Darby wanted $6 million to help with his cash flow, as he claimed that he could not pay his recurrent bills, including his service providers' salaries and wages. Couldn't even pay his electricity bills, my Straight Dog family. When Dr. Duke came into office, we are told he instructed the new board of directors to instruct the lawyers to discontinue the case in the court. And this must be a travesty. I say so, my Straight Dog family. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller? Are you there, caller? Well, the caller's gone. I thought I had a caller. Let's take this other email, my Straight Dog family. And you have just joined me again. And if you're joining me for the first time, you may have bumped into Straight Talk. And I overlook saying a happy independence to my North American Straight Talk family. I also want to touch my friends in St. Lucia. I spoke to my friends in St. Vincent. Yes, Jenny, you told me your brother's house got damaged. Spoke to a good friend as well in Jamaica, who told me that all was well. And Grenada, Cecile, and all the others, and Barbados. How could I forget Barbados? We trust that the recovery process has started. I listened to Comrade Ralph, and he is earnest in starting that recovery efforts in St. Vincent like yesterday. Let's go back to the lines at 11 before the 10 o'clock hour. Remember, Straight Talk is heard every Monday and Thursday from 8 to 10. So we are winding down. Caller, you live. Hello, caller?
Yeah, Mr. Liburd, man. How you doing tonight, man?
I am peaceful, my brother. How art thou?
Yeah, pretty good, man. Yeah, man. Happy Independence Day to the country of my residence.
Yes, happy Independence Day to you too.
And happy independence to all American citizens at home and abroad. Mm-hmm. Hail up the man culture and my colleague up there in New York. You know who he is. 40 years of the CBI program, and the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis are now starting to get an idea after I've been echoing this for some months now. The amount of money is being collected through the CBI program from its inception. St. Kitts and Nevis should be in tip-top shape. 6 weeks now, those RICO suits are being filed, and I haven't seen one man move in terms of a protest. Patches, last week, it was said that there might have been a settlement. Did you get to research that at all? I think that was supposed to be your homework on the list for last week.
Well, I have not confirmed that there was a settlement, so I.
Yeah. Are you still on that as a homework assignment or what?
Well, I'm still researching the matter. I know this Grace Attorney General, was it him? Yes, wrote something. Yeah, I'll deal with it. Yeah.
As soon as you get that information, whether yeah or nay, let us know. And my homework for you, as we're talking about, you about to say something?
I was saying, where there's smoke, there's fire. You know, I'm here.
Yeah, man. Every rumor have some ounces of truth to it.
Yes, and we know that Dr. July went to Washington. We were told he went to meet with the lawyers for the convicted felon, Philippe Martinez. He has not denied it. He has made no mention at all about
he should have said something to the country about that.
He said absolutely.
And I hope when he's traveling like that,
yes,
he's not by himself.
Okay.
He should at least have his top legal advisor with him.
Well, most meetings you see him all by himself. In Turkey as well, all by himself. You know, a man who has no experience in business, nothing at all, and he just exposed himself. You know, and it is frightening to me.
Yeah, but you know, but going forward, man, some homework for you. I just want you to report because somebody asked about the projects or whatever. Maybe you should do some homework and come back to us and let us know which of these capital projects are on hold. Because to me, it seems like all of them are on hold right now. You know, we need to get that information. Because that will give a general synopsis of where the country's economy will be going in the near future.
Yep.
Yeah, different than that, man. Let me just punch real quickly on over on the international scenes. There was some tax increases. You know, we know locally, but, you know, let me go on the international scene for a minute. There were some tax increases in Ghana. The citizens there acted like the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. Nobody moved, just a lot of chatter, a lot of talking, no action. President Ruto must have visited Ghana, visited President Adu there in Ghana. Some conversations was said about tax increases. Ruto went back to Kenya and tried that on his people, tried to increase the taxes there. The people kicked back on him. The people went in the street and protest. And I want the people of St. Kitts and Nevis to go and do some homework and look at those protests in Kenya and see how in foreign countries the people, when they disapprove of the government and what they're doing, they go in the street and they protest. And guess what? They were able to get results. That tax increase bill that was proposed by their parliament had to get pulled back by the government because of the massive widespread protests there. When you go in the street and protest, you sure can get results. And I'm just indicating to the St. Kitts and Nevis residents, the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. I want them to go and look at those protests in Kenya and see what kind of results they got there and know that they can get results in St. Kitts and Nevis as well when you go in the streets. Different than that, man, a lot of money is being collected to that CBI. The money was totally mismanaged. You played a soundbite, I think, last week, and I've heard that lady talk when she made that soundbite that day, proposing for each person to get $10,000 distributed to them, whether it be a dividend from coming straight from that CBI. That's what she wants. She wants $10,000 given to her and the residents in their hand from that CBI program. Not a bad idea, but guess what? That should have been done from the beginning. The money from the CBI, two ways that money will be distributed or be used. For one, the development of the country, build up the infrastructure and all of that. You hear Judah talking about building up the infrastructure now, but they should have been done doing that with all that CBI money that was being collected. The money went here, there, and everywhere else except into the development of the country. And now it didn't trickle down to the people like how we should have. A dividend also could have been given out of that money to the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. That wasn't done. So now, through all this revelation, everybody's now finally maybe waking up a little bit and seeing and hearing of all the monies that was just mismanaged. People are getting upset. But everybody sit there for 40 years and nobody protests about anything when this was happening live and direct all them years. It took persons like me to come forward and start advocating about such things. And I just hope that the people of St. Kitts and Nevis can wake up and smell the coffee. If they don't wake up and take action, this stuff will be continued. The politicians then will sweep this under the rug somehow, and they will get past this, and then the status quo will remain. So that's my little contribution tonight, man.
Thank you.
I just want the people to wake up. And persons like me out here in the diaspora who's celebrating real independence, man. We have a lot of things here that we can rely on to checks and balances to keep our government in check. It seems like we don't have that in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Okay.
But out here, persons like me, it ain't really all about me, but the persons out here who have this dual citizenship, we, if we so desire, can run for politics here. We just can't be president. But in our land of our birth, we can't run for politics. But just as you say, anyone of those persons who acquire St. Kitts Nevis citizenship, they will be given full, advantages of being a citizen. Yet still, persons like me, who is a natural born citizen, cannot enjoy those same advantages.
Okay.
But here I am in a foreign country, can put my name on a ballot and run for politics here. And I can't do that in my own country, in my birth.
Okay.
My birthright is being violated in St. Kitts and Nevis. And I hope one day somebody can take up that mantle and get that change. That Brian Claus need to go back to how it was before that Denzel Douglas touched it. And that's my contribution for tonight, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Don't believe it was. Thank you. I think that was before Denzel Douglas, though. That was in the Simmons administration's time. That Brian Claus. I stand to be corrected. Good night, Patches. Reads this email, or perhaps take one more call after this. I beg to differ with your suggestion that former Prime Minister Harris be given leader of the opposition. Mark Brantley is accused of using Sean to mash up unity and also rooting for him to be the Prime Minister. It's only fair that Sean be given the position of opposition leader. He be compensated or rewarded. Mark is a self-centered, selfish individual. Yes, well, I take your point. I think we're looking for the best person who can really defend the thousands of people outside there. And I believe, well, I take your point. I believe that a better pick, a better leader of the opposition would be Timothy Harris. And that's my view. But I still take your point. Dear Patches, the recent uproar surrounding Attorney General Garth Wilkins' alleged disassociation from his former law firm, Kelsick and Wilkin, demands a closer look. Wilkin asserts that he cut all ties upon assuming the office in 2022. Yet the enduring use of his father's name in the firm raises questions about lingering influences. Kelsick and Wilkins' prominent role in representing Philippe Martinez in the lawsuit against government figures including Dr. Denzel Douglas and the National Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis, cast a long shadow over Wilkins' purportedly impartiality. How detached can Wilkins truly be when his family legacy is enmeshed in these high-profile cases? Wilkins' dedication to anti-corruption and good governance is commendable. However, the optics of his former firm's ongoing legal battles against the government undermine public confidence in his independence. The name Kelsick and Wilkins is not just a label. It is a symbol of deep-rooted connections that are hard to sever completely. To regain credibility, Wilkins must do more than renounce former ties. He must actively demonstrate transparency and address the implications of his past associations. Only then can he dispel the specter of conflict of interest that threatens to overshadow his tenure. How come Big Lies ain't tell nobody that Jew's wife father is here in St. Kitts working? These people come in broke St. Kitts. So when we the citizens travel out, well, I don't think that could be correct, but at least his wife's father is a member of parliament, so how could he be working in St. Kitts? I won't peddle that inaccuracy. Whoever July's advisors needs to be fired, or July don't listen to them, but Labour are making sense. From day one, July lying to its people, and one man on the internet saying July did no wrong for him. But of course, not when he could pull his guitar and all his children get free music festival tickets. The school children in Newtown said they overheard, wow, this person is going to get me in trouble here. No. Dear Patches, have you heard about the water crisis in Keon? It is a disaster, and the blame squarely falls on Congress Maynard's reckless disregard for expert advice. Keon residents are now facing a severe crisis where salt water is flowing from their taps, a problem that was entirely avoidable. Corman Williams had warned Maynard about the risk of saltwater intrusion due to increased well pumping. Yet Maynard ignored these warnings and went ahead with his plans. Instead of listening to expert advice, Maynard arrogantly proclaimed the water discovery as the biggest find in the country's history in Parliament. Now the reality is his incompetence has hit hard. Residents are stuck with briny, undrinkable water that corrodes plumbing and causes health issues. The community is furious and demanding answers, but Maynard's belated acknowledgement of the problem does nothing to restore the trust he's shattered. The crisis is a glaring example of how Maynard's arrogance and refusal to heed warnings have led to a public health disaster. It's a stark reminder that we need leaders who take their responsibilities seriously and listen to experts, not ones who spin failures into triumphs and leave communities to suffer the consequences, reads this email. And this other email reads, Patches, yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of Mick Stokes' passing. Everyone, including Sister Sensia, posted his pictures and memories. Dr. July did not post one thing about Mick. Patches, have you ever wondered where the last name Jew came from? Because no one on his mother's side of Monk Hill last name is Jew. So we will have to have July tell us how he got his last name, because lies are getting worse by the day. Reads this email. Good night, Patches. I would like to ask the PM again about the CBI money. We don't want to hear about shoes and watches. The question is, are we going to continue to get CBI money as promised? June is gone. This is now July. Yet no word about the CBI. Reads this email. Patches, your frequent callers appears to be wanting only culture Wow, what is this saying? Is it waning or one only culture seems to be consistent? What happened to Mr. Politics? Has he shifted gears? Reads this email. This other email reads, and this is my final email, my Straight Talk family, as we wrap tonight's patches. Good night. I listen to you closely. What I have a problem with is government in and out to stop giving away poor people's money. If an enterprise or a man wishes to invest in St. Kitts and Nevis, let them walk with their money and come. Mark Banty take up Nevis money and give this man that now has the government in court. We have Christopher Harbour, all this money, and now they can't pay back National Bank. We need to stop taking up poor people's money and give to these investors. Let the investors walk with their money and come. I have friends that want to build their houses in the Ross area to make some rental money, and these banks would not give them $1 million for these investments property. If I was Prime Minister, I would have given a special loan for that area to cut down on students going all the way over to Frigate Bay, and at the same time, my people will own their own home. I have friends and family that can't even get an NHE house, but yet these governments are giving debt forgiveness of millions of dollars. Governments need to think about their own people first. Read this email. And as we wrap tonight's programming, my Straight Talk family, and for those who joined me late, our thesis tonight I titled No Second Chance to Make a Good First Impression. Prime Minister July and his self-proclaimed team of experts have had a rocky first 2 years in office, we must admit. And now he's facing a RICO lawsuit, an order of mandamus, which has threatened our economy, our banking system, and the very government he leads. When Dr. July was sworn in as Prime Minister, there was a federation-wide expectation that this new leader and his team would steady the ship of state, resolve the issues of the past that gave rise to their administration, and pave a positive and clear new way forward. Get it right, and he would have brought the momentum of everyone with him. But he got it wrong from the very start, and now he's struggling to win back the trust of the people that repose their confidence in his team. The country emerging from the COVID pandemic made it an increasingly important time to bring the country together, with more emphasis placed on policy implementation and governing. But sadly, till this day night, 2 years after the August 2022 elections, there is still an intensity and focus on lies and politicking. Now branded a pathological liar, one can make a systematic list of lies, a catalog, from day one when he told the country that he procured 15 dialysis machines. He was caught red-handed and he retracted. My Straight Talk family, when you look at what's happening with the houses, the East Coast Housing Development, what's going on there? Drew said he spoke to the financiers and he said all is well. If all is well, why not build the homes? Beg your pardon. My Straight Talk family, but he forgot, he told us a few weeks ago that the hold-up was people wanted bigger houses. But liars have no memory, my Straight Talk family. And that's typical of July, my Straight Talk family. He spoke about the MIR machine. But that should have been 2 years ago. What's happening with the solar farm as well, my Straight Talk family? What's happening? The solar farm should have been implemented. His own advisor said it was a good project. His own advisor, contrary to what he said about the project, his advisor, my Straight Talk family, had this to say about the project.
It is a good project based on our own studies, calling in the expertise from right in the Caribbean to assess. It's a good project. Mm-hmm. They feel that it was properly assessed and the costing was within the range of what it would cost anyway to do that.
And yes, his own advisor contradicted his lies and told the world it was a good project. But my Straight Talk family, one thing that's bothering me, and it's what July said about the National Bank. And he said this.
And I will not accept anybody who seeks to destroy the reputation of National Bank. It is beyond me. It is about the country. It's a very serious matter.
Well, the serious matter, my Straight Dog family, that I have come across just today, and the biggest threat to the National Bank is the non-performing loans, which includes $130 million, which the last board and management was trying to recover. The matter was in court to determine the bank's lien or its legal right or claim against Christopher Harbour and the acreage of land that was used as collateral to secure the payment of the $130 million in debt owed to the bank. And I say again for the last time tonight, I was part of the negotiations. I sat right next to Buddy Darby. Buddy, you must remember that. You listen to the program, Buddy Darby. I know you do. And you'll find the tape for the program. But I sat next to you, Buddy Darby. You agreed to surrender the land, but you wanted $6 million to help with your cash flow. Buddy Darby, if you want to come to the program, you're welcome. The last time I remember you tried to get the audio tape for the program. And I invited you. You remember? Years ago, I invited you to come to the program. We have the whole program for you, Buddy Darby. And let's talk about Christopher Harbour. But what is been happening? Because we are told that July instructed the new board of directors to instruct the lawyers to discontinue the case. And this must be a travesty, because it could only mean writing off this humongous debt owed to the bank in order to lend Christopher Harbour more money. Why should Christopher Harbour get more money from the bank when Christopher Harbour also owes the government another $60 million? And that includes interest on money it borrowed from the SIDF, which it never paid back. It didn't pay 1 cent, my Straight Dog family. But tonight, I raise these issues. And my Straight Dog family, there's a lot I gave you to chew upon. There's plenty that we discuss. And when we examine, worst of all, the issues regarding the CBI and the excuse we got from the Prime Minister that he was set up and he was committed. How come he was not committed to the construction of the Bastille High School I mentioned earlier, at the original site at Ponds Estate, where millions of dollars were spent on the environmental impact assessment, on designs, and other sundry minor matters or issues? The current water engineer, Cromwell Williams, said this at a town hall meeting, and I know he stands by it. Nothing was wrong with the site. Nothing, my Straight Dog family.
Our advice to the cabinet was that, given that the Ponds Estate site is at least 1,000 feet downstream of the closest well, which is designated well 148, and furthermore is in an area of the Bastia Valley which was never used for potable water extraction and is very unlikely to be used for potable water extraction, coupled with the use of modern wastewater technology, this site does not present a danger to the potable water supply.
Cornell Williams is the current manager and water engineer at the Water Services Department. And I can put my neck on a block that Cromwell will not compromise his professional training and experience for the petty politics that is practiced by July and his cabinet. July, upon assuming office, set a tone that spoke volumes about his competence, his trustworthiness, and leadership style. He started off on the wrong foot, and he will always face challenges in gaining trust and credibility. He totally mismanaged his first interaction with the people and the ill-advised decisions he made, especially those that affected the poorest amongst us. So in the process, July failed to create a positive foundation for his leadership journey. Terence Michael July, I submit, can never reverse that situation. So let's just make up our minds to change him. As my former schoolmate would say, change the change until you get the change you need. Let's make up our minds to change July at the earliest opportunity, because there is no second chance to make a good first impression. That's my story tonight, my Straight Dog family, and I am not going to change it. I'm going to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight as always. I'm going to thank you, the many listeners, those who called in and those who sent emails. Remember, you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I am Ian Patches Liburd, and God's willing, God's spare, we will connect on Monday for another edition of Straight Talk. Until that time, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend, my Straight Dog family. And remember that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Dog family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Monday, have yourselves a wonderful, restful, and peaceful weekend.
The morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life that's got me here. So whatever my mind conceives, that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now, I'll keep moving on, till I reach the top somehow. Down on my knees, the Lord I kneel and pray, with my heart and soul, beg Him to take me through each day, my guardian to keep, and my guide, over every step I take, to my brethren, kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on, till I reach the top somehow. Now I'm on my way, with strength and courage from above. No man I'll fear, since God protects me with his love. Strong, pure and true, and so sincere, 'cause my knees I'll always stay to the Lord in prayer. So whatever my mind conceive, that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good,